Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's time for my own special version of Chapter 4 of the storyline from Ixalan. Now, a lot of people have asked, is it Ixalan or Ixalan? It's Ixalan, but I'm pretty darn sure that the Aztecs and Mayans did not use the Latin pronunciation for vowels, so guess what? It's Ixalan. So this particular chapter, and I use that term generously, in the storyline, and I use that term generously, jumps over to the merfolk. So in other words, it has nothing to do with the previous stories, and I don't know, I wouldn't really call it a chapter. Anyway, the subtitle is Kopala, which I guess is the name of one of the merfolk, so I guess we get to hear about those douchebags. And you know, I'm just going to make a habit of this. Let's just read the first two lines here, because I usually end up doing that anyway. We were here in the beginning. Before the first patter of unwebbed feet upon the dirt, my people swam the waters of Ixalan and listened. The 9 tributaries taught us their secret names, and in return we promised to call upon them only in need. They're Native Americans. Great, we've got Native American ripoffs. Stereotypical Native Americans, oh yeah, nature and blah blah blah, we're gonna name the rivers and the spirits. Oh my god. Get a life, wizard. Seriously, get a life. And while you're at it, get a writer. Like, get an actual author who can come up with their own ideas instead of ripping off, like, Japanese mythology and then Egyptian mythology. Oh, by Japanese mythology, I mean actual history. And by actual history, I mean a bunch of crap they saw in an anime series. If that was actual Japanese history, then my name is Jace Beleren. It's not, by the way. So I get to read through crap like we whispered to the roots as we stepped among them. I thought you said you were swimming. Make up your mind. But guess what? Guess what? You know those roots? You know them that they were just talking about? They curled away to clear our path, not because we were their masters, but because we alone knew how to ask. Let me guess, they also respect nature and they're all vegetarians. Oh my god, I don't want to read this story. It just goes on and on. We spoke to the wind and the waves and the tangled branches. We shaped them to suit our needs, which is funny because they just said that they were not their masters and they respected nature and blah, 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 blah. So it ends this nonsense, poetic, self-indulgent, pretentious garbage with, we are mighty, but we used to be so much more. And there's something in there about, the dino people showed up, then the bloodsuckers, then the brigands, and ruined everything. Let me guess, they gave you some blankets and they were laced with measles. Anyway, there's 9 shapers. They lead the 9 great tribes of merfolk, and I already strongly dislike them. And 9 tribes, that doesn't bode well for basically the volume of them that'll be printed in Rivals. Anyway, let me save you a bunch of poetic nonsense. Kopala is a title, not a name. Or it's like both. I mean, seriously, you guys know how I'm usually like, oh, go read the storyline for yourself, because my version of it is an insult to everything in the lore. Do not go read this garbage. Oh, I was meditating in the waters when it found me, and I opened my eyes and saw myself reflected in still waters, the river and I becoming one. This is like a really crappy, like, way too many adjectived out, like, romance novel that some kind of middle-aged woman would read on a bus. This is the kind of garbage you would find written by an SJW. Just self-indulgent, overly descriptive, just look how great I am, oh, descriptive, look how awesome the merfolk are, just garbage. Just complete and utter garbage. I'm starting to notice why they remove the authors' names from these chapters, because people usually have a response like I do to some of these. But if you're curious, I do know exactly who wrote this. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Oh, I can feel the wind and the tides and that tree and oh my god. I don't care. Something in the story better happen or I'm just going to skip ahead. It does say, I can feel the heartbeat of Ixalan, blah, 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 and the steady thrum of the golden city of Erazka. I've got an idea. Where is it? If you seem to be able to sense it, tell me where it is. Hey, look, something actually interesting, that a paragraph that starts with something I give a crap about. The power of Erazka is unlike any other. It is separate from the wind and the waves, the ephemeral exertions of life and the deep, slow grinding of the earth. Okay, where is it? I mean, I already know from the cards that you probably got to, like, unlock all these temples. It's like some Zelda kind of quest thing. It's almost definitely, like, hidden. It's like in another dimension or invisible or something. But its truths remain shrouded from our view, but what it is beyond words. Where is it? Give me some GPS locations, merfolk crazy person. I mean, I thought the whole idea of being a warrior poet where you gotta focus less on your combat and more on your ability to give a speech, which is a great way to stay alive, I thought that was bad. These people just need to be wiped out. These merfolk, if they just sit there and they're like, I can feel the wind, like, just get rid of them. I'm glad the other tribes showed up and just like nuked them back into the river, because that's like, that's good. That's good for society. That's good for Ixalan as a whole. But don't worry, guys, because Tashana is there with me, guiding me back, reminding me wordlessly to see the strangeness, to feel it, to reflect upon it, and like water in the great river to let it flow over me, down the channel, to the sea where all things must eventually return. You know how, like, people can't planeswalk out of Ixalan? They're completely trapped there, and every time they try, like, basically the Azorius symbol shows up and prevents them? That's how I feel right now. I'm stuck in Ixalan 2 reading this. I wish I could leave, but we're already 5.5 minutes in this video, and I don't think you guys would appreciate me leaving halfway through this chapter. And by halfway, I mean they actually have a scrolling progress bar a quarter of the way. If this story does not end in a whole jungle full of Pikachus jumping in the river at once and using Thunderbolt and having a little fish fry, I am going to be thoroughly disappointed. I do have some good news, though. My phone just buzzed, and I just sold a playset of Sun Petal Groves. So I got that going for me, at least. But guess what? Guess what? My eyes close. We meditate further. I cannot help but wait in expectation of another missed beat. It does not come. Soon after, Tishana's presence wanes, and our meditation comes to an end. Oh, thank God it's ending. It's finally over. Now write something that doesn't suck. See, they actually lied. It's not over. You know why? Because my eyes open and my body returns to me. I swim down to the river bottom, kick off in a cloud of silt, and move from below to above. They're actually pretty much just describing real things that are actually happening for once, so that's a slight improvement, I guess. So Tashana shows up, which is weird because I thought he or she or it or Z or whatever the hell was somewhere far away. I was just skimming, honestly. So she's like really old. Oh yeah, it does say she. Cool. Yeah, it turns out that if you think you're a genderless whatever tranny something whatever the hell, your species will die off. So yeah, I can see why they went with she, but she's old enough to remember when many of the trees in the glade were saplings. So she says, "You felt it?" And of course, I forgot who we're talking about. Kopala says, "Yes." What was it? And Tishana reiterates, "Do you feel it now, Mr. Krabs?" And then Kopala says, "I do, SpongeBob. I do." You guys better be real happy that I'm making stuff up, because this is unreadable. Oh, by the way, I completely skipped over what they're talking about. There was some kind of heartbeat that they feel from the Golden City, and then it like skipped a beat. So apparently the Golden City has, I don't know, heart disease or something. So I'm thinking that the Golden City is probably at this point morbidly obese, but it bought into the whole Tumblr, hashtag healthy at any size. Or I think it's beautiful any size, but people moved it to like healthy at any size, but clearly that's not the case. All I gotta say about this, my opinion on this, not even gonna state it. I'm just gonna say that the fat acceptance chairman for Congress, or like to Congress or whatever in the US, died at the age 38 due to complications from heart disease. That's what I have to say about that. Oh, and Denial isn't just one of the rivers of Ixalan. It's also not, actually. In fact, the one in Amonkhet was called the Luxa, which I'm pretty sure is a casino in Nevada, which is not Egypt. So what caused it? What kind of weird, like, metaphysical, scientific thing? And how are they going to reach it? And does that mean somebody breached the defenses and temporarily made the city appear? And was it Vraska and Jace? Did they find it because it got the compass? Are they in the jungle searching for it? Is the compass going to open up like a force field around it that cloaks it and makes it look like the jungle? Well, let's read and see what they have to say about it. A disturbance of the intangible, like a dolphin trying to break through the river water's surface, although it cannot breach. I do not know what it means, but ... I don't care about no dolphins. Give me some sci-fi crap. Give me some like Stargate SG-1 crap. Did they just dial to the Stargate? Did they take the Stargate from Amonkhet? Clearly pyramids and all that, Stargate, yeah? And then they beamed into the Golden City. Is that what happened? Give me something that isn't in freaking merfolkese. So we're like a third of the way through this crap, and I'm just going to quit reiterating, just with specific examples and quotes, how unbelievably unreadable this is. Although this one I got to point out, she says she pauses, giving me a chance to speak. But when I first began training with Tishana, I had waded through these silences out of deference. But eventually, I realized that if she knew I knew the answer, her silence would continue indefinitely. Don't you hate it when you're trying to talk to somebody to like ask them a question and they just don't respond? You're like, did they not hear me? Did they just start daydreaming? did they freeze up and I got to hit Control Alt Delete and reboot them? Like, what just happened? Can this person not converse at a basic level with another human being? Like, what just happened? So, Tishana, like, get it together, for real. Here's a little nugget for you. It says, Erazka, the Golden City, the place our people have sworn to keep secret, even from ourselves. So, the merfolk are the ones that hid it. And even they don't know how to find it. But Bolus does, but he just can't be bothered to come in person, so he sent Vraska with the magic golden compass. Now, I haven't seen the movie The Golden Compass, but I'm just going to assume that they're ripping off the storyline because they cannot come up with their own anything. So, blah, 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 what involves Erazka involves the whole world, and blah, 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 did you feel it, I felt it, magic, something north, blah, 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 I don't freaking know. So, some other merfolk homeboy, or as they like to call them, shapers, comes, his name is Kumena, because he's from the Kumena River, which is blah, 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 a bunch of jagged rocks, is dangerous, and so is he, and he's basically a cliche, stereotypical cartoon character. Oh, and he brought like 20 merfolk with him, so... yeah, if he was so, like, hardcore, why wouldn't he take back the continent? So he's all mad, and he's like, oh, we caught a member of the Sun Empire. I think that's the Aztecs, you know, the dinosaur-riding people. I don't know, what do they say about him? Oh, what was he? Guess what he was doing? He was looking for Erazka. Like, he's acting like that's a surprise, and Tishana's like, really? Like, she seriously replies, they have long sought Erazka. Like, why is this news to you? And then they say one patrol on the far side of the river hardly means they have found it, which implies that she knows where it is, which they just said that they hid it from themselves. I don't know. Hey, look, something that actually moves the plot along almost precisely 50% through the chapter. Forces are converging on your golden city, says the man, the Aztec guy. Our spies tell us of 2 pirate captains. I wonder who that is. The stories are incredible, but they seem to be true. You know, because they use magic and they can cloak the ship and make it silent. And he can make giant, you know, illusions. And yeah, I would think. One is a man with the head of a bull. Oh, wait, that's not Jace. Wow, I should have just read the next line. The other is a woman with hair twisting vines. Okay, well, where does Jace come into this? I mean, I guess he's not technically a pirate captain, but, you know, I think he'd come up. Anyway, it says the woman has a device, a compass, and she says it points the way to the Golden City. She was discussing it openly in their floating city. Wow, that's just bad writing to use the word city to end 2 sentences in a row. So how would the merfolk have spies in, like, the floating pirate city? Like, they look like merfolk. I mean, okay, maybe illusion magic or something. I don't know. I could just imagine like a merfolk putting on like a little human mask that they made and then just like, hey, fellow pirates, give me 1 cup of your finest human mead. So we are like fast forwarding the crap out of this because it says, hey, guess what? Guess what else? One of our own, a champion of the sun, which might be Huatli, I don't know, performed a spell that revealed the Golden City. So I honestly don't know who he's talking about there, but that's interesting. Like that, the last time we heard from Huatli, she was just like, I'm going to leave on a mission to find it. So now they're already at like, I performed a spell to reveal it, which, hey, my theory was correct. It's invisible. Yay. And then he says, she will go to its gates. So I guess they, I don't know, did a long distance spell to reveal it, but now they still have to actually like find it. Hope they don't use Apple Maps or they're probably going to end up in Australia. So, guy whose name I already forgot, that's all mad and stuff, said, okay, so Erazka is threatened, but, you know, you'd probably want us to protect us, but we don't even know where it is. So you should probably pretty much tell us where it is. And I bet you Tishana's going to be like, no, it's sacred information, no. And so Tishana, apparently her big thing, because her name is, you know, Voice of Thunder, she's like that Marvel superhero guy, where, like, if he says one word, it'll, like, level a whole planet or something. It says even her whispers can fell trees, so she didn't really raise her voice, but she did a little bit, said she's louder than him because, of course. And she says, yeah, I'm going to safeguard Erazka from all who would abuse it, even ourselves. And this guy sounds like a complete jerk, so makes sense. So then Kumena, apparently that's his name, says, okay, so the Bloodsuckers have a visionary guiding them, so they're already probably going to find it. Now the Beast Riders are looking for it, and they've, like, removed the, you know, spell protecting it. Then we got the pirates that have a device. We are greatly outnumbered, and they are more zealous than ever. Oh, and then they, like, say the best, like, idiom in all of merfolk. They say, if this current keeps flowing, Erazka will be discovered. That's like, if we continue down this path, or, you know, like, I'm going to use that saying in real life. If the current keeps flowing as such, then the pizza's going to get burned. Well, Tishana gets this attitude. She's like, and what would you have us do, Shaper Kumena? Please, grace us with your wisdom. That's a direct quote, by the way. Now this is interesting. So Kumena's like, you know what? The time has come. We must wield the power of the immortal sun ourselves, or we will see it fall into enemy hands. Now see, apparently it's quite literally the sun, because it says the sun will tumble from the sky, the waters will run cold, and this land that has cradled us will become our grave. That's pleasant. So apparently there's some kind of artifact, I guess, inside of Erazka called the Immortal Sun, and it like controls the sun, and if somebody messes with it, the sun will fall from the sky, which, you know, from an astronomical perspective, really doesn't sound right. And they have stated that these planes are like real places because, you know, the moon and like, I think Mark Rosewater even said, like, the moon is orbiting the plane is a planet, it's round and, you know, whatever. So like astronomy is actually real in this world or in the universe, multiverse, whatever. So like, how would the sun fall from the sky? I'd love to hear that. So then, apparently Tishana's getting a little bit angry, a little bit louder, and she says, oh, remind us, why outsiders finding Erazka would be our doom. By the way, just thought I'd throw this in because they just reminded me, on the opposite side of the card Thematic Compass is the only known picture of Erazka in the entire set, unless I'm mistaken, because it's literally called Spires of Erazka. So if you want to see a picture of what the Golden City looks like, just flip that card right on over. It's kind of got a Wizard of Oz vibe going for it. Anyway, Kumana says they would misuse the sun star power thing, whatever. And then it says, The Last Guardian, in all caps, lawsuit pending from the game The Last Guardian, I'm sure, entrusted it to us, and if we would let it fall into outsiders' hands, then we are derelict in our duty. They will destroy us and all the world with us. So by they, I don't mean if they mean, well, that's plural, and they said The Last Guardian, so I don't know. I guess they mean, by they mean like the outsiders, one of the other tribes. And they would use the power to destroy the rest of the merfolk, which I would be more than happy if they did that, because that would be awesome. But they'd accidentally take the rest of the world with it by, you know, kind of eliminating sunshine, which kind of need that. It's kind of a jungle. Now, on the positive side, if they did ice over the whole world, no more allergies, though. No more pollen, no more mold. It all freezes. So then Tishana's all like, oh, yes, the Last Guardian or whatever entrusted us to keep it hidden, to keep it unused. So we should probably do that. $10 says the Last Guardian is one of the mythics from the new set. Conspiracy theory. I believe I read that there's 4 Eldrazi Titans, and we only know about 3 of them, and the 4th one is mystery, but they have confirmed that it's not Merit Lage. So maybe the Last Guardian is a more normal, more, you know, traditional entity, I guess you would say, with traditional thought patterns. And maybe it was the one who is the Last Guardian. Oh, just now they say that of the 20 people that came with them, like, all the rest of the heralds are there, so all 9 of them. So even though Kumena is basically the military guy from that garbage movie Avatar, he's not wrong when he says, surely you must see it. This philosophy of inaction is meaningless if the city becomes a weapon in the hands of our enemies. I mean, you got a point there. Got a point. Oh, we have to guard it. We have to hide it. Oh, crap, they found it. Like, what would that do for you? That would be bad. I think they're going to have to go down the middle and just hide the city better, which, you know, probably they can't do. So, they're basically both looking at, Kopala to, like, break the tie, basically. And, so she's like, well, you know, I'm decisive with words and fair and even and just and all that. So, she says, I cannot deny the truth in Kumena's words. If outsiders take the city, only misery can result. Well, not wrong there. The immortal sun has brought ruin to this land once before, and we barely survived. Hey, guarantee that's the card Star of Extinction. Guarantee it. Don't know why there's still dinosaurs. So for anyone to use it again would be the end of everything and blah, 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 blah. But then she continues, if the Last Guardian had meant for us to actually use it, he would have entrusted it to us directly in our own, like, personal care, instead of just telling us to hide it and then honestly do nothing. I'm not sure I get the tactics of that. So yeah, she finishes with, you know, I'm not so arrogant as to think that we alone might safely bear the weight of this responsibility of, like, using it correctly. So she does side with basically Tishana by saying she's right, and, you know, we gotta keep people from getting to it and, like, claiming the Golden City, but you know, really including us. Like, we should probably prevent us from using it too. So the second Kumena hears that, he's just like, all right, well, it's like 7 verse 2, or I guess it would be 8 verse 1 verse then the leader. They didn't really say who's who and if it's 9 inclusive or if it's 8 plus 1. So like they started putting up a steel cage or bringing in like a ladder. They got some steel chairs coming in. Like it's about to get real. They're going to have a match. Microphone drops from one of the trees in the jungle and they start announcing. They're like, in this corner. And then everybody just like stops. Because, as they put it, I feel a tug at something in my chest, a connection to spider thread plucked like a bow. For a moment we all wait, sensing, knowing in our hearts that someone is approaching the shores. So they got spider sense, literally. It says spider thread plucked like a bow. They got spider sense. So Tishana uses her little scrying magic to be like, hey, there's some ships approaching our coast. Yeah. Hey, Kumena, we should probably do something about it. Kumena's like, yeah. And here comes unnamed merfolk leader number 7 with a steel chair. No, really, though. Kumena's like, I'll deal with them, but this strategy will not last us the next 100 years. It will not even last us one. You have all been warned. I'll see y'all at SmackDown if they renew my contract. So apparently Tishana's pretty smart because she's like, okay, so if Kumena could find Araska on his own, he already would have, obviously, when it came for permission, requested, the location. So, in the meantime, without that information, he's just going to go attack every single enemy that they could possibly find. And honestly, probably just follow them, but, also destroy them. One or the other, probably both. So, yeah, I mean, Kopala gets it. She's like, you think he's going to seek out the others who seem to know the way? And Tishana's like, yeah, so I'm going to follow him. So, I mean, obviously, they decide and state outright, yeah, I don't think it's going to remain hidden, so that sucks. But we really do have to defend it without using its power. Now, if you're wondering where I personally stand on the issue, I side with the Republicans because they voted 58-42 in the Senate to use the Golden City's power. Of course, most analysts are saying that Trump's just going to use the Golden City to attack North Korea, though. So Tishana's going after Kumena, and it switches kind of to her point of view at this part in the story. Everybody's kind of worried that Tishana's getting up there in the years, but she's still the most powerful, and she even admits, like, I'm the only one that can stop him, most likely. And, yeah, she costs 7 mana, and she ain't no frickin' joke, so, yeah, I'd agree with her. I have no idea what card Kumena's on. So Tishana says that she's not thrilled with training him as a student, but honestly, the people from the Kumena River, like all the Shapers in the past, have been kind of crap. So, as she puts it, my memories of him are brimming with headaches and resentment. Sounds like most of my teachers. Ayo. So Kumena's already out there attacking one of the ships with like some big old storm thing with big old storm magic. And he says, okay, so we could conjure 1,000 storms 1,000 times, or we could just, raise a city only once, which makes it sound like maybe it's underwater, but how would he know that? I mean, the picture clearly shows that it's in the jungle. I don't know. We're not going to find out where it is till like chapter 8, I'm sure. So they're still going at it. She kind of counters his spell, which doesn't make sense because, hello, attack the pirates. I mean, duh. But it turns out she actually just replaces his spell with her own, and whoo-hoo! I mean, did I mention she costs 7 mana? So her spell, quote, tumbles the ships in the distance like leaves on a whitewater river. Yowza. Now, I didn't see this ending coming. It says, you always had more skill than I, Kumena said. I ram one of the ships into the side of a sea stack. That's from What's-Her-Face's perspective. You think yourself wiser than your elders, I say. That will be your downfall. And age will be yours, Kumena replies. I looked over my shoulder just in time to see Kumena's fist hit my face, and all goes dark. Use your words, not your fists. And by words, I mean magic. By the way, the artwork they used was River's Rebuke, which of course bounces all permanents back to hand and apparently bounces your ships into some kind of coral reef. Ouch. Well, I can't wait to find out who was on that one next chapter, probably. So, see you guys next video.